All right, what's going on? Today I got a question that is cutting carbs the absolute best way to lose weight? And so that's what we're going to be covering in this video. If you're new here, my name is Connor Hansen. I'm a health and wellness coach. I help people get into the best shape of their life, physically, mentally, and emotionally, while still enjoying that life. And as a bonus, I teach you how to maintain those results forever because I firmly believe that you should only have to lose weight and get fit once. So let's kind of dive into it. The reason that this individual was asking this is because she felt like every time she went on keto, which is restricting carbs a ton, that she saw a ton of initial success. And then on top of that, continued to lose weight, even though it was unsustainable. And 9 times out of 10, within a few weeks, she would bounce back and sometimes bounce back even more intensely and gain all of that weight and then some. And then obviously, then it's harder to go back to doing some type of a diet or whatever the case is. And so it begs the question though, because in her mind, she equates lower carbs equals weight loss. And so to her, that makes sense that if she wants to lose weight, she has to cut out carbs. And so that was kind of the basis of her question. And so I wanted to go into it because I think it's a very common question. It's one that I get all the time. There's a lot of low carb zealots out there that are like, nope, you have to go low carb. Carbs are the devil, sugars are the devil, and it gets really intense. As you'll see by the end of this, I firmly believe that carbs are great. Carbs have a place in all of our diets. High processed sugars. Now, on that hand, obviously, we'll kind of talk about it and get into it. But there's balance, right? In life, you have to have a balance, and that's kind of what we want to talk about. So, short answer is no. Cutting carbs is not the end all for weight loss, but I wanted to dissect it and see why that may be happening, you losing a ton of initial weight, and then continuing to lose weight by cutting out carbs, but then you end up getting it back. So the reason that you see an initial huge drop when going keto or when cutting out carbs is because for every gram of carbs you consume, typically there's about 4 grams of water weight. So 1 gram carb equals 4 grams H2O. And the reason that this is important is because we have stored water, right? We have stored water all throughout our bodies. On top of that, we have stored glycogen or stored carbs in a sense in our liver and in our muscles. And so when you go to cut out carbohydrates, when you go to cut out sugars, well, now your body doesn't have those stored carbs, doesn't have that stored glycogen. It also doesn't need as much stored water. And so what it's going to do is it's going to drop that weight very, very quickly. So typically, this is kind of what you'll see in a keto diet is you'll have an initial huge drop off, and then it will kind of do this, which is what most weight loss programs, your weight will fluctuate like that. And it's the same thing as when people have a high carb meal. Let's say on Sunday they have a high carb meal, and then Mondays they do their weigh-ins, and they end up weighing more than they did, let's say, on Saturday before they did that. And so that's kind of that. Why that happens is because your body is getting rid of carbohydrates, which is stored in the muscle, as well as stored water. And so, especially off rip, first week or so, you may have like a pound or two of fat loss, right? But you may see a 5 to 6 pound dip in overall weight, but that extra weight is actually going to be carbs and water weight. Okay. And so then the second that you start eating carbs again, it's going to boost right back up. So the other thing that I wanted to cover in terms of overall fat loss, right? Because weight loss and fat loss, those are two completely different things. If you want to shred weight really quickly, then yeah, stop eating carbs. Well, stop eating in general, right? You'll lose a lot of weight really quick that way. But stop eating carbs. Try to sweat as much as possible, and you'll lose weight. Now, as far as fat loss, especially long-term fat loss, obviously those little things aren't going to equate to that much fat loss. But the other reason that you may lose more doing some type of keto diet is because there's four macronutrients, right? For those of you who don't know, macro or macronutrient, right? There's carbs, there's fats, and there's protein. Alcohol, that is kind of a fourth one, if you will. But carbs supply quick energy. Fats are kind of slower energy, and they also help with hormones. And then proteins build muscle. They help you recover. They help you feel fuller for longer. They have a higher satiation rating, right? But carbs are not the devil. Carbs are not evil. Carbs are actually really, really useful when used correctly. But the reason that people tend to see a little bit of success on keto, especially in the short term, is when you cut out legitimately a third of the food that you can even eat. Especially nowadays, there's carbs in like everything that we eat. When you cut one of those things completely out of the way, then you're going to be eating less food, right? You're going to be in it's more likely that you will be in a calorie deficit because you are cutting out an entire food group. That's the thing. Like intermittent fasting, keto, Jenny Craig, the Weight Watchers, all of these things are just ways to put your body into a calorie deficit, which that obviously is going to be the thing that's going to be the most successful over time, is that consistent calorie deficit over time. And one of the reasons that people fail on keto or fail on no carb or low carb is because, like I said, carbs are in everything that we eat. Not everything. Carbs are in just about everything that we eat. And so to constantly be on that type of rigid structure or schedule slash be depriving yourself of that, right? It's such a mental game and can be really detrimental, especially long term. There are a very, very small group of individuals that can do keto for an extended period of time and feel just fine, and awesome, more power to you. But for the majority of us, um, having a balanced diet of proteins, fats, carbs, and then just working on staying in that calorie deficit for a consistent period of time is going to be, and then focusing in on our habits and our day-to-day routines and things like that, you're going to find so much more success, especially in the long term, going that route. And for me, I don't even have my clients care about carbs or fats. All that we care about is overall calories and proteins. And so maybe that's something that you could try as well as you're kind of going through it, is just worrying about your overall calories and your proteins. Because like I said, proteins keep you fuller for longer. They are the highest satiation rating. They keep you fuller for longer. They change the way that carbs and fats are digested, like helps build muscle, helps with the other bunch of other things and processes within the body. And so that's what I would recommend. Just worry about your proteins, just worry about overall calories, and then doing that consistently, right? Getting good sleep, getting your water, all of those like little lifestyle habits that can be super beneficial. So short answer is no. Cutting carbs is not the most successful way and end all be all for losing body fat. Long answer is also no, because long term, especially because most people aren't in it just to lose weight and then gain it all back, right? They want to lose it and keep it off. And so having a more balanced and working on your lifestyle habits is going to be a lot better and more successful for you. So hopefully you found this useful. If you have any questions, obviously throw them down in the comment section below, and I will check you in the next video.